Although the United States has many natural resources, a skilled labor force, and modern production facilities, American companies and consumers go beyond the U.S. borders to obtain many things.
Imports are items bought from other countries. Without foreign trade, many things you buy would cost more or not be available. Goods and services sold to other countries are called exports. Just as imports benefit you, exports benefit consumers in other countries. The difference between a country's total exports and total imports is called the balance of trade. If a country exports more than it imports, it has a trade surplus. The balance of payments is the difference between the amount of money that comes into a country and the amount that goes out of it. When a country has a favorable balance of payments, the value of its currency is usually constant or rising. When the prices increase and the buying power of the country's money declines, its currency is not as appealing. Inflation reduces the buying power of a currency. Companies and individuals want to avoid risk when they do business in other nations. If a government changes suddenly, this may create an unfriendly setting for foreign business. A company could lose its building, equipment, or money on deposit in banks. Doing business in other countries requires knowledge of the differences that exist among people and places. The location, climate, seaports, and natural resources of a country influence business activity. In some societies, hugging is an appropriate business greeting. In other societies, a handshake is the custom. These differences represent different cultures. Countries and individuals face the problem of limited resources to satisfy needs and wants. You continually make decisions about the use of your time, money, and energy. Each day you come upon examples of government influence on business. Governments regulate fair advertising and enforce contracts. They require safety inspections of food and medications. Government actions can create trade barriers, which are restrictions to free trade. To regulate international trade, governments set a limit on the quantity of a product that may be imported or exported within a given period. The limit is called a quota. A tariff is a tax that a government places on certain imported products. Specific actions by governments can promote international business activities. A free trade zone is a selected area where products can be imported duty-free and then stored, assembled, or used in manufacturing. Under a free trade agreement, member countries agree to remove duties, also called import taxes, and trade barriers on products traded among them. In a common market, members do away with duties and other trade barriers. They allow companies to invest freely in each member's country. Licensing is selling the right to use some intangible property for a fee or royalty. A franchise is a right to use a company name or business process in a specific way. A joint venture is an agreement between two or more companies to share a business project. The World Trade Organization was created in 1995 to promote trade around the world. With more than 150 member countries, World Trade Organization settles trade disputes and enforces free trade agreements between its members. Social responsibility refers to the duty of a business to contribute to the well-being of a community. Pollution occurs when the environment is tainted with the byproducts of human actions. Some production methods cause pollution of lakes, rivers, and air. A socially responsible business takes action to improve or change operations that cause pollution. Businesses are more and more sensitive to the role of women, ethnic groups, and physically challenged, and the older workers. The workforce of a business should reflect the groups in a community. A healthy workforce is a productive workforce. Workers who have good physical health are valuable assets. Businesses today do a number of things to improve the health of their workforce. Having a safe place in which to work is important to all employees. They should be able to work in an office or factory free from risk that could cause accidents. A socially responsible business engages in ethical business practices. Ethics are principles of morality or rules of conduct. Business ethics are rules about how businesses and their employees ought to behave. A code of ethics is a set of rules for guiding the actions of employees or members of an organization. Government plays a role in all economic systems. Your role as a citizen and voter has an effect on the decisions and actions taken by the government. The main goal of the federal government is to oversee the activities that involve two or more states or other countries. State governments regulate business actions within their own borders. For example, a trucking company that hauls products only within a state's boundaries would be regulated by that state and not the federal government. Local governments include county boards and city or town councils. Local governments provide services needed for an orderly society, such as police and fire protection. Government protects your rights in a number of ways. For example, citizens are protected through police and firefighting services. The armed forces provide for national defense. National security is a chief concern of the federal government. Laws have been established to help provide a safe work environment. As a worker, you have a basic right to safe working conditions. Safety standards for buildings, machines, and chemicals are set by government agencies. Contracts are another example of government protection. A contract is an agreement to exchange goods or services for something of value, usually money. It is a basic part of doing business. Without enforcement, dishonest consumers or business owners could refuse to honor their agreements. The legal system enforces laws and government regulations. Intellectual property is purely intangible with no physical characteristics. A person cannot touch it. A patent gives the inventor the sole right to make, use, or sell the item for 20 years. A copyright protects the creative work of authors, composers, and artists. A trademark is a word, letter, or symbol linked with a specific company or product.